My name is Sandra Patterson. My student number is U1028731. This is my formal assessment for EDC1200 Task 2. Throughout the course of this presentation, I intend to show the viewer the differences in living conditions between the people of Somalia and the people living in Australia. I strongly believe that this slideshow will demonstrate how Australia's community identity is very different to that of the Somali people. Perhaps it could be said that Australia is indeed the lucky country and has a strong national identity that is very fortunate and in a sense very wealthy. On the other hand, Somalia has quite a different story, one of poverty, hunger and at times desperation. It is hoped that this pitch will show my future students that they are indeed very fortunate and hopefully teach them more tolerance within their local community. Because, after all, there are people in our own community who may feel lonely and afraid, and if we can teach the youth of today understanding and empathy, tomorrow will always be a little bit brighter. The land in Somalia is principally desert. In the northeast of the country, locals experience the monsoon season from December to February. In the southwest of Somalia, from May through until October, a monsoon weather pattern is also experienced. In the north, there are moderate temperatures, and in the south of the country, the temperature can become very hot, with irregular rainfall, with hot and humid periods between monsoons. The border countries are Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Kenya. The BBC News from Africa reported on the 5th of September 2011 that as many as 750,000 Somali people could die unless more aid is made available. It is alleged that East Africa is suffering from the worst drought in 60 years. At the time of this report, there was approximately 12 million people across the region in need of food aid. The United Nations Technical Advisor, Graham Maloney, told journalists that the rate of malnutrition in the Bay region is 58%. This is a record rate of acute malnutrition. The United Nations Food Security and Nutrition Analysis Unit says, in total, 4 million people are in crisis in Somalia, with 750,000 people at risk of death in the coming 4 months in the absence of adequate response. Although Somalia is a much smaller country, it also has a much smaller area of irrigated land. 1.64% of the land is used for farming. This is in direct contrast to Australia, which is quite a large area, which has a much larger land that is irrigated. Australians use 6.15% of their land for farming. As you can see from the information provided, there is a large difference between the health of the Somali people and of the Australians. For example, women in Somalia on average live until they are 52 years of age, whereas in Australia, women are expected to live until their 84th birthday and beyond. It is also interesting to note that 32.8% of children under the age of 5 in Somalia are underweight, while in Australia, 16.4% of adults are obese. The people of Somalia also have some very serious issues with their limited water supplies. Some very serious diseases can easily be transmitted simply by drinking the water. One specific concern is diarrhoea. This is particularly worrisome because it can easily lead to dehydration and without proper medical attention quite often leads to the death of many. We are very fortunate in Australia to have water across the country that is 100% safe to drink. It is hard to fathom, but women in Africa will walk an average of 6 kilometres every day so that they can carry 20 kilograms of water to their family in their village. Dominance of the Somali people. The people of Somalia have been served another blow from America. It is a great worry that the US banks will discontinue to use money wiring services at the end of December 2011. They state that this service could violate their counter-terrorism laws. This law has been put into place to ensure terror groups are not funded. The US has concerns that the Al-Qaeda insurgent group Al-Shabaab could access these transfers and use these funds to assist in their efforts to overthrow Somalia's transitional government. The Al-Shabaab are trying to impose a strict form of Sharia, or Islamic law, on the people of Somalia. As if the people of Somalia were not being dominated enough, there has been recorded kidnappings, car bombings, and interruption of food supplies. On average, just under 50% of the Somali men can read and write, while only 25.8% of women have this skill. This is in vast contrast to Australia, where 99% of both men and women can read and write. It is interesting also to note that on average in Somalia, men will spend 3 years at school, while women will spend only 2 years. This is very different to Australia, where on average men spend 20 years and women spend 21 years in an educational institution. I wonder how many of my future students will have mobile phones. In Somalia, the percentage rate is 6.5, while in Australia, it's 103%. So, how can we help the Somali people overcome these very difficult hurdles? Maybe we can all spend a few moments thinking about all of the toys that we got for Christmas. What type of food did we eat, and how many cans of soft drink did we all have? Let's reflect for a moment and try to remember who we thought about this Christmas. Did we have any knowledge that people were living in these conditions? How has this presentation made you feel? And how do you now feel about different members of your community and now the people of Somalia? So, Naomi, what did you learn from watching the video slideshow presentation?
I learnt that people in Somalia have to walk a long way to get fresh water, and most of the time it isn't even fresh, and that they can get really sick from it.
And how do you think that this will help you in your local community?
Well, it'll help me understand how people from other communities and countries were brought up and all of their past.
Okay, thank you. So, Olivia, what did you learn from watching the slideshow presentation?
I learnt all about the Somali people and that they have to walk really far to get clean water, and most of the time it's not very clean and it can make them really sick and give them diseases.
So how do you think that this will help you in your local community?
It will help me get a better understanding of how hard people in other countries and communities have it, and that I'm very lucky to live in Australia because it's a beautiful place.
Excellent, thank you very much. As you can see from the Red Cross fundraising guide, there are many ways that students can fundraise to help people living in dire straits. This money can be collected and then forwarded by cheque straight to the Red Cross. Oxfam's Water Week. In England, Oxfam has dedicated 1 week per year to educating young people about global issues such as clean water. This site has a large amount of teaching resources that can be used within the class. The tasks can be modified to suit different age groups and is reported to be very easy to use. Trials so far have proven to be very successful. Some of the outdoor activities included water races where students had to collect and carry water. The children then asked parents in the audience for donations. On the short video clip that was shown on the Oxfam site, the children seemed to thoroughly enjoy themselves and appeared to have a great sense of pride. They were happy to be achieving something within their own community that would help people that were experiencing difficulty further abroad.